Well, she just made you co-host. Oh, it's recording.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so yes, like Sarah said, I'm Jenna. I'm from Michigan. I live really close to Sarah and Rachel, so I get to see them all the time, and it's a lot of fun being around people that I love and work with. Um, so I started May, June, July, August. So now a year and 4 months ago. So almost a year and a half ago. And um, I first was looking at Morgan's profile and I was like, oh, hair, skin, and nails, okay, like that sounds like a cool product. Like my hair doesn't grow anymore, so sure, like let's try it. Messaged her and she was um, like sent me all the pricing and everything like that. And I was like, like I'm in college still. I'm finishing up my junior year, about to be a senior. Like I don't think I can afford that right now. Sorry. Bye. Unfollowed her. Like was like, she's gonna keep bugging me, so I'm just gonna unfollow her. So unfollowed her and then just randomly out of the blue was like, I wonder how that girl's doing. Like, I wonder if she's like still doing good. So I requested to follow her again. She accepted it. And I saw her posting about like how she like makes income from her phone. And I was like, you know what? I want to do it. So I just texted her. I was like, hey girl, like I've thought about it a lot. I think I want to do this. And a lot of people don't know this part of my story. I don't really know why I don't share it because it's such a good example of like if you don't have the money, you can still do it. So there's this thing in Mount Pleasant where I went to college called Joy Run. It's kind of like Uber Eats, but you get the money like quicker and you don't have to go through like all of their training, and it's only for kids that go to the college. So like you can only do it if you're a college student. So I wasn't worried about like creepy old men ordering. But basically you just go, buy the food, and then deliver it. So I like told her on like a Friday, I was like, I'm gonna do it, but I don't have the money. Like I was doing Joy Run, so I was like, I'm gonna save all of my money from Joy Run. I'm gonna save up to the $99 and I'm gonna start. The day I got my $99, I texted her, I was like, girl, I'm ready, like let's do it, let's go. And she goes, okay, I just got the best news, it's only $49 to join. And I think that was a moment where Morgan knew that I was gonna be a runner. And that's because I know Morgan and I know how she is when there's like $49 codes. And she saw that I was going to be a runner and she was like, this girl deserves this spot. Otherwise, she probably would have made me pay the full $99. But anyways, I started for the $49, and at first I was just kind of like iffy about it because I hadn't really told like my family, my friends, my boyfriend, like I hadn't told anyone, and I knew that they were all going to be like, oh, you're just like doing a pyramid scheme. So I kept it pretty low key. And then one day I just decided, you know what, like I want to do like I want to hit a promotion. Like I think that'd be really fun. So it took me 5 months to go Ruby. I went Ruby and then I just kind of like plateaued. Like it took me through the summer and like just to the first or second month of college. And then like college hit harder and I had classes. I was taking like 18 to 21 credit hours because I'm a crazy human and I like wanted to get done. So actually no. No, I was a senior, so it was my last semester, so I wanted to do really, really good. That's what it was. I only took one semester my senior year. So I just kind of hit a plateau, and then a couple months ago, I was like, we went to conference and it was great, and I was like, I want to hit diamond, I want to hit my $15,000 bonus, and I didn't get it in the time that Mark gave us, and then I was like, and then he extended it, and I was like, okay, this is mine, like I'm getting it, and that month I went emerald. So it took me 7 months to go emerald, and I was like, I did the best I could, didn't get my bonus, but I still promoted. And then he goes, guess what? You have another month. And I went diamond. So it took me 5 months to go ruby, 7 months to go emerald, and then a month to go diamond. And like, I was just like, this is it. This is where I decide that I'm going to do it. And I went for it. So that was that. Oh, and Rachel and I went diamond at the same time and we celebrated together. And that was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I love that. So, you were going to college. How did you balance college, work, and it works?
It was hard. There would be days that I was like, I'm too busy. And like I would text Morgan, like there was a time that I wasn't enrolling, and this was between the time that I was going Ruby to when I was going Emerald, and I texted her, I was like, Morgan, why am I not enrolling? Like I started and I enrolled so many people. Like I got my customers. I enrolled like 3 or 4 DTs my first month in. Like, why am I not enrolling anymore? And she's like, well, are you doing what I'm telling you to? And I'm like, no, because I'm too busy. And that was the moment she was like, that's your excuse. Like you're making excuses for yourself, so you just need to like get up earlier and do the work, go to bed later and do the work. And for me, since I was a senior, when I started during the summer, and then when I was a senior, I only had 9 credits, I think. So I only had 3 classes. So it was really easy for me to like come home on my break from class and do the work and then like go back to class. Like it was really easy. I had a lot of free time. So it was easy to sit on the couch and watch Big Brother and like send out messages to potentials.
How do you work during discouraging seasons?
I just do it. This is actually a pretty discouraging season for me right now. If I'm being completely honest with y'all, I'm just gonna be super transparent. I lost my bonus. I didn't maintain diamond for 2 months in a row, so I lost out on my entire $15,000 bonus. So it's super discouraging for me. I lost it last night. So all I can say is like get up and keep going, because I made the decision that I wasn't just gonna stop, and I signed 3 distributors today and the 71. So I have notes, so I'm kind of looking at them, kind of not. But my biggest advice to you for working in this discouraging season is text a sideline or an upline. Like I text Sarah and Rachel all the time. Rachel, I know, texts me all the time when she's having like her tough time working. So texting a sideline, or I text my upline Allie and I just say, hey, like knock this out of my head. Or I'll text Dakota, because Dakota can be super real with me, and I'll be like, tell me that I'm stupid for like saying this, and she does it, and it knocks me right back to like, all right, let's get my mind in it. Like Allie, Rachel, Sarah, they all let me vent to them, so I can tell them like what's going on and I can get it out, and then they'll give me encouragement, and that's super, super big. Or yeah, it feels so good to text a sideline. Or with Allie, I ask her to keep me accountable. So one of the goals that I have for this month, which I tried to do last month and I failed myself, I want to get up and spend an hour of intentional time not on my phone. So I want to be doing my personal development, doing my devotionals, and I ask her to keep me accountable, and she has me send her my notes for my devotional, so she knows that I did it. And then this one is just really unfair to all of you, but I go to Morgan's. Like if I'm having a tough time, I'll be like, hey, can I come over and work today? Because I know, and Rachel knows, that if we're at Morgan's, if we're at Morgan's and we're doing something that isn't like business, like it's not helping us in the business, she looks at us and says, is what you're doing right now income producing? And if I say no, she makes us get to work.
I need to come hang out with y'all.
Seriously.
Does your personal development change through the seasons that you go through?
So when I saw this question, I looked at it a little differently, because I've never really had a season where I've just not done it. But there are times in my life that I'm busier. So I'm traveling more, I'm on the go. Like when I was in school and I was coming to and from home, it was an hour and a half drive each way. So then during that time, I'd be listening to podcasts, listening to personal development. But there's other times in my life, like during the summer months, I love to just sit and read a paper book and highlight and underline and be able to journal. But there have been seasons where I've just been like, this sucks. And if I don't do my personal development for a day or two, I can feel it affecting me, and I can feel myself getting down and hard on myself. So then I just know, because I know who I am and I know myself, I know to just read a book or get back into it or journal or something. Does that answer your question enough?
Yes,
Okay.
I think so. And big question for you, because I know I've asked you before, how do you attract and seek runners?
I was super excited for this question actually because I signed 9 last month and I signed 6 the month before and I've signed 3 so far this month. And like not everyone's gonna be a runner, and that's just how it is. Like I've got some of my runners on here, which is like that I love it and that's awesome and I love seeing their faces. But not everyone's gonna be a runner. So my tips, which it's just kind of what you guys always hear, but be yourself. Like I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm Brooke and I have a baby and like I'm a mom. Like guys, this one time I was stealing one of Brooke's posts and I was literally about to just post it and then I was like, wait, this says I'm a mom. Like I can't use that. So like I don't want to pretend that I'm somebody I'm not. I don't want to go and be like, I'm a mom to a 1-year-old named Granger because I'm not. So you just really have to be yourself and like show people that you're real and you're just a human and you make mistakes. Like I've posted videos on my Instagram where I was running after Duncan and I tripped and fell in a hole. Like just show that you're real. um and I do struggle with this sometimes and I'll admit it, but post daily or every other day. I get in the habit if I don't post every day, then I don't post for like 3 or 4 days. So I like to post daily because it makes myself like I force myself to do it because I know that if I don't, I won't do it the next day and I won't do it the next day. So post every day or every other day. Get on a schedule with yourself. And this is my favorite part, but don't sugarcoat anything. Like if I have a girl come to me and say, okay, I'm ready to do it, but I can only spend like 10 minutes on my phone a day, I'd be like, okay, well, you're gonna have to put in much more work than that if you want to make an income. Like don't be like, okay, that's enough. Like let's go. Let's sign you up because it's not enough. Everyone sitting here knows that if you only spend 10 minutes messaging people, you're probably not gonna get anyone to like sign up with you. And if you do, shoot, give me your tips because I want those tips. But like just be real, don't sugarcoat things and tell people how it is. And I'm just gonna add in my way of attracting and signing distributors is the first half of the month I focus heavy on DTs. Whereas a lot of times like you want to get a lot of product haps up, I get a lot of distributor hosted posts up. I actually use Brooke's script, so that's the one I've been using for a while. So I go in and I comment my influencer application, people fill it out, or they message me like directly off of the post. But I focus heavy on distributor post to post at the beginning of the month.
Okay. I think you sent me that hap too, didn't you?
Yeah, because you asked for what I use and I just use Brooks.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that one, Brooke.
Yes. Okay. Where did that go? And here's your big question. How do you run alongside runners?
This one actually like took me by surprise and I had to think about what exactly I do because my team will tell you like I have a lot of red or a lot of yellow blues. All of you leaders know that I have struggled with, I guess I struggled not the right word, but I attract yellow blues. And I'm a red blue. Like I'm very outspoken, like tell you how it is, tell you once you got to do it and if you don't get it like sorry, you're out of luck. Not actually, like I'll tell you again, but I'll get annoyed. Sorry to my team. But so I don't do a lot of tasks and challenges just because as a yellow that's not something that works well for you, and I've had to come to terms with that and learn that like yellows aren't very like they don't like challenges because it's not like they're not the kind of people that are going to be like I signed 13 distributors and a 30 LCs today. they're just going to be behind the scenes doing their thing, and like they don't like to like be in your face about it, you know? So yeah, if the prices are right, but if I'm just like, I'll send y'all $5 if you do this, like that's not gonna motivate my team. So I don't send a lot of challenges and stuff, but when I do, I make sure that I do it with them and I show them that I'm doing it with them. So the other day I did a challenge with my team and I said, okay, whoever gets your 6 list done first, like you'll win something from me. And then when I went in and I said, I've done this, 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 and this today, what have you guys done? So it shows them that like I'm actually doing the work and I'm not just telling them what to do, but I'm doing it with them and alongside of them.
What is your favorite personal development book for believing in yourself?
So I also really had to think about this one, because if you ask me my favorite personal development book, it's going to be Prayer of Jabez. But when I read your full question and you said for believing in myself, I had to sit and think, because I don't think I've read one that's really hit home for me lately that like helps me believe in myself. But one that I do remember and that sticks out to me is Own Your Everyday by Jordan Lee Dooley. And if you haven't heard of her, or if you haven't heard of that book, I recommend looking it up, because she is so real in it. She's just like a little, like she's from like a smaller town. I'm pretty sure she's from Michigan, actually. She's from a smaller town. She was like, I'm nothing. Like, why would anything happen to me? But it makes you think, like, if she can do it, why can't I? She has an Etsy shop, or she used to. I don't know if she still does, but she started it in her sorority house in a utility closet. And I heard that and I was like, if she can start a huge Etsy company, why can't I become a triple diamond? If she can have a following of however million on Instagram, why can't I have a following of 20,000? You know, like she can do it, and she just came from a small town. Why can't I?
I like that. I love that, actually.
Highly recommend. I have it on Audible, so if any of you haven't used your Audible and you haven't gotten a free book yet, let me know and I can send it to you.
Sweet. And what has been the biggest challenge for you so far in developing your business, and how did you overcome it?
Well, Rachel was there when I faced this challenge, so she might remember it. The month that I went Emerald and Diamond, so the month that I went Emerald, I had a girl on my team who was going Ruby, and she was pushing. It was great. And like we were friends, like we bonded, like we hung out outside of the business, like we weren't just business partners, like we were friends. And I can't remember if it was the month I went. It was the month I went Diamond. But the month I went Diamond, I was building her for Ruby, because the month I went Emerald, Hunter was my Ruby, and so was another girl that had quit working. But the month I went Diamond, I was building her as a Ruby under Hunter. This sounds so awful, and it makes me sound like such a red. She had 14 volume that she needed to make herself a Ruby, and we had BOGO keto coffee, and she wouldn't place an order. And me as a red, knowing that my bonus was on the line, I was like, are you kidding me? Why can't you do that? Like, what's so hard about ordering some keto coffee? So I like came to realize that she just didn't want it like I did. And if she had, like, I'm sure she would have boosted herself $39 and gotten some keto coffee. And instead, like, I got frustrated. I did it myself, took things in my own hands, because that's what I do when I get mad. And I was like, okay, whatever, like, I'm writing you off. I'm done with you. Like, this is friendship over, business, like, over. Like, I'm done. Like, it was very toxic red mentality. And, like, I had to learn to deal with that. Like, she soon after quit. And, like, that's fine. But she came to me and she was like, I'm sorry that I quit the business, but I thought we were friends. And it was really hard for me to get over that boundary and be like, yeah, we were friends. And I'm like, but you frustrated me and that's on me. I shouldn't take it out on you. So that was one that like really, really hurt me because I didn't have my ruby on the other side working either. So I basically built myself to be diamond. So it was really hard. So if you guys think you can't build yourself to be diamond, you can, because I did it in a month. Aside from that, one thing, this also just sounds cocky a little bit, but I've had to learn how to lead a team. Because for so long I've had a team of people that were like wishy-washy and didn't really want to work. And now that I have a team of runners and people that are like actually doing the thing, I'm like, okay, how do I delegate something from me to you guys? Because I'm used to doing it all by myself. So how do I take the weight and the load off of me and like give you guys something to do? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So that, and like I'm still kind of going through that. Like I said, I've signed 15 distributors in the last 2 months. Like I still am trying to figure out how to take the weight off of me and the leadership off of me and put it onto my team.
And I think that is all the questions that we have for you. Does anybody have any other questions for Jenna?
Well, it's not exactly a question, but I can piggyback off of her when she was talking about like what's her favorite personal development book. And I guess just a tip that I got was that if you feel like you're like reading a personal development book and maybe you're like, you really wanted to read it and it sounded good, and then you're just like, you've read maybe a few chapters, maybe you've listened to like 20-30 minutes of it like multiple days in a row, and you're like not getting anything out of it, to not be afraid to stop that book and listen to something else. Because I was like, I'm so OCD and I hate reading multiple books at a time. I hate it. But when I was struggling one time, Morgan was like, what are you reading? And I said it was Mastering Your Inner Mean Girl, which it actually is really good. It's just some chapters were just not what I needed to hear. And so she was like, well, if it's not what you need to hear, don't listen to it. And so she was like, listen to something else. And so just like when you're trying to figure out what you are struggling with, that's what I think you should base your personal development on. And so it's just a tip that I learned that really helped me, even though I hated not finishing that book. I did go back and finish it, but I still didn't get as much out of it as I did going to something that I really needed to like go through, if that makes sense. You know, like if you're struggling with money mindset, you know, do the, oh crap, what's it called?
Because of a Millionaire Mindset.
Thank you. Yeah. I was like, I just read this book. And then like my one for kind of like, it's I guess in a doubt or just like dreaming bigger is The Magic of Thinking Big. That's what I'm reading right now. And oh my goodness, I love it. Literally love it. So if you have any doubt or like, you know, like Jenna's talking about this whole time, similar to the Own Your Everyday, I really recommend that book because it's been kind of life-changing for me. So that was my one thing, is don't be afraid to stop your personal development if it's not working.
Funny story, actually, when I was going through a funk at conference, Rachel and I were in the airport on the way home, and she sat me down and was like, all right, let's make a schedule for you, because I was going to be starting a new job, like a big girl job. I ended up not taking that job, and like I have all the time in the world now. But she sat me down and was like, okay, if you're going to be starting at 8 o'clock and you need to drive like a half hour every morning, like you need to be getting up at this time to be able to like work out, to do your personal development, and she sent me a book. Y'all, I can't listen to that book. It's Unfunk Yourself. Rachel, she was like, I love this book. It's amazing. It's great. You need to listen to it. And I can't. His voice gets to me. He's got like a strong Scottish accent. And I was driving to Morgan's when I started it. And I'm pretty sure the whole ride I was just like, I can't do this. I've never finished it. It's just in my Audible halfway done. And I played a little for Morgan the other day and she was like, oh, I could not do that. It's bad.
Speaking of conference, shameless plug, it's online this year. So info goes out on the September camp. So get your ticket.
Does that mean it's not going to be $250?
Right? Well, I know where I'm going to watch conference.
I'm going to stay at Morgan's that week to make me feel like I'm on vacation.
There you go.
Okay, well, that's all I've got. If y'all have more questions, I can answer.
I think that's all we got. We
Okay.
usually keep it to about a half an hour. So.
I like that. That's nice.